This is 2501 Nunnery Road, the Frankie Marcheteer property.
Okay, Brad, you wanted to speak?
Yes, sir. Those that don't know me, my name is Bradley Haynes, born and raised on Nunnery Road. I've lived here in the town of Spafford my entire life, and so have many generations of my family before me. I hope that future generations of my family will be able to live here and want to live here. This is still a rural town. The intent of the new zoning code states to protect, preserve, and enhance the scenic qualities and rural character of the town of Spafford. Rural character is a tractor in the yard, red or green. Rural character is a parts vehicle next to a capable person's garage. Rural character is firewood stacked on the porch or some chickens in the lawn. Rural character is a neighbor lending a hand, expecting nothing in return. Let's not forget about our rural characters. We are a socially diverse town, if not in race, in peculiarities and economic status. We have plenty of characters to keep things from getting boring. In working on this project, I had the fortune to visit with many people in the town. I was invited in for soup, for lunch, and to sit and visit with folks. We have a great community here with many wonderful people with a lot to offer. From engineers to mechanics, to farmers, to scientists, to volunteer fire persons. However, there is a small group of concerned residents who are continually after the town to make one of its unique individuals, Frank Marcheteer, clean up his properties and most recently try to force him to demolish a house. They claim he should do so for safety reasons. I believe their mission primarily, if not solely, is aesthetic. The 2501 Nunnery Road property has been deemed safe and brought into compliance with town zoning code. Yet this group continues to harass, insult, and even threaten town officials and make prejudicial remarks. We feel that a different perspective needs to be represented. As residents of the town of Spafford, we the undersigned wish it to be known publicly that the Marcheteer properties do not affect our standard or quality of life in any way. We are proud citizens of this town who feel that our tax money should no longer be spent on this matter. We are in no way being held hostage by what a small amount of current residents deem lower class. We are not saying that we agree or disagree with how Frank does things or keeps his properties. We are simply saying that our quality of life is not affected by it. We are saying there must be a better place for our money to be spent than paying lawyers to fight these battles. The purpose of this document is to put on record the thoughts of a large cross-section of the people in the town of Spafford. To give the town board proof that most residents here are proud of where we live and not ashamed of our neighbors, including the immediate neighbors of 2501 Nunnery Road. Thank you.
Thank you, Brad.
Can you tell us how many signatures are on that, Brad?
We got 132. You think you guys would be asking the town for a copy of this petition? For the here, I want to give you one so that it costs the town anything.
I'll pay.
But I'll give you one on my dime if you think you're going to be asking for one.
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
I can get one later. Well, I'm not sure, what are you asking us to do here, Brad? Or are you asking the individuals that want to pursue this to follow the zoning code? You are looking for what?
This is simply a message that not everybody has the same opinion of what we think is a small group of people that are continually pursuing this issue.
Well, I appreciate your effort, and
I just want in the future, when people are looking back at things, at least this is here documented, that 132 people signed this document. Instead of just the opinion of those that are continually going after this issue in the
well,
record.
the one thing we do have is we just passed new zoning laws here a year ago. There was a lot of time and effort and thought was put into it. A lot of people participated in it to try to have a code that the people can live with in the community. And it's not a draconian code. It's I had a lot of input into it, as a matter of fact, and so did Ken Lieberman and the other board members. But it's something that the town needs, and if we're going to have the zoning laws, basically they need to be used. And if you happen to need that zoning law, I'm sure you're going to be knocking on this door down here to say, look, you've got a zoning law that we need to do something with, whatever it might be. So I can understand the folks signing this petition. I'm a little surprised at some of the names that are on there because they have spoken to me too. But right now, we need to enforce the codes, if that's what we're going to
I'm
do.
not asking you not to enforce the codes. And one of my other points is that a property is brought into compliance and the small group of people is still going after the same issue. It's been resolved according to the codes enforcement officer.
Well, I don't think, I'm not sure where it is in the courts. It's still in the court, Kim.
Which one, which property?
2501 Nunnery.
That's completed.
That's completed. So it's completed. But if it's kept, it's got to be kept up though. You're not going to let it go back to the pre-existing. I know some people don't agree with his paint job. That was done probably out of spite, which you know.
Nobody agrees with that paint job.
Pardon?
Nobody agrees with that paint job.
I understand it, but that was done, I'm sure, to be a little vindictive on his part. But we can't dictate the paint scheme. If he didn't miter in the corners, we can't dictate that. I mean, so basically, he's got to maintain it though. It's got to stay. And if it doesn't, it's going to come back. I can assure you that it'll come back. And we get the one up on the corner straightened around, that's still in litigation. Maybe we can make some progress with it. But we're dealing with a very difficult person. And I can understand his feelings to a certain extent, but you're standing here and you want to be a proud person to live in this community, and I commend you for that. but you also need certain standards that you need to live by. And to be able, you have your tractor, that's fine, I have no problem with that. But when it turns into a littered junkyard, and it's just right in the center of town, it's a little more than a lot of people can bear. And that's all we've tried to do, is just clean it up. And basically, that's what we want. And you could do a great service, is grab all these people, come on down to Frankie and say, look, we're gonna have a cleanup day. We'll have some hot dogs and we'll have some soda, we'll clean the place up. Now, that's the way to get that job done.
I think if that was done maybe like 11 years ago, maybe,
Well-
it's too late, you've harassed them too long, you know, so maybe people offer to lend a hand at the beginning rather than
Well, maybe they should
tackle
have.
legally. The time's probably past for that.
Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. You never know, anybody ask you,
Webb,
right?
I offered to paint the building down at the corner. Because as you know, I own the property diagonally across from that, his building. I talked to his brother Joe, and I asked Joe wanted a favor of me. He wanted to be able to use my property to park vehicles when the Veterans Memorial Parade was. So I said, sure, go right ahead. I mean, I'm more than happy to let you do that. I said, and by the way, do you think your brother would mind if I took a gallon of white paint and went over and painted the building on the corner? And Joe went ballistic. He said, you know, the people on Nunnery Road are this, and this is the way the conversation went. And I said, okay, all right. I don't think that they want it any other way. I really don't. And I'm convinced of that. And you know, when you look at, there's two sides to every issue. And I respect Brad's doing what he did. I think it's an indication that he wants to participate in the community, and he's got the best interest of the community at heart. But you know, when you make an investment in this town, you expect it to be protected by the zoning ordinances. And if everybody's property in this town was degenerated to the extent that Marcia Kidd's property is, we would have a horrible mess in the situation. And I mean, there's two sides to every story. And like I say, would you want the same for every building in town? And the thing I cannot understand is why he does this. I mean, if other people, all the neighbors in the town take proper care of their property, why can't he? I mean, that's all I'm gonna say. But I have offered to give them a hand. So I don't think that's the answer, I really don't.
Well, that was a suggestion.
Excuse me?
It was a suggestion.
It's a good suggestion.
You never know. Somebody might grasp
How
it.
are you, Webb? Why don't you ask him?
Me? You know, I get along with Frank.
I try to get along with everybody.
It's, but there's certain issues that we do not see eye to eye on.
No,
And you know what? I can't understand why he puts on a great fireworks for the
he
community.
does a lot of good things. I was in the.
We use his electricity for the Christmas tree.
I realize that. I was in the fire department with him I was in the department for 25 years. He was a good fireman.
Well, there's a good heart there somewhere.
There is. There's a good heart in everybody.
And-
But when you step on somebody else's toes,
Well,
I mean,
I
and
agree.
it doesn't make, there's no reason for it. It doesn't make any common sense at all.
maybe it's his spice of life.
Yeah, I guess so. Just gotta live with these problems, I guess. But our town, I think, would be better off if those properties were straightened out.
Well, we're working on it.
Yeah.
We haven't, it's a slow process. And if we can get it cleaned up, we will. Okay?
Hey,
Thanks for your participation, Brad. Appreciate it.